Today I got a brand new Dell Inspiron 3000 series laptop. I'm going to do some upgrades inside. I'll open it up and show you how to do it. Hey guys, what's up? Dale here. Today I got a brand new Dell Inspiron 3000 series laptop. It's a 3593 model. Customer just bought it. They want me to do some upgrades. It's got the Core i5 quad-core 6-thread processor in it. It's the 1035G1 CPU. It came with just 8 gigabytes DDR4 RAM, 2666. It's got a 256 gigabyte NVMe drive in it, and there should be an empty 2.5-inch bay. I've done quite a few of these. Most of these Dells of this type have an empty 2.5-inch bay that I can put a SATA SSD in it. So I'm going to do all the above. Upgrade the memory, put a larger capacity NVMe drive, a little higher performance one as well, and I'm going to add a 1 terabyte SATA SSD to the inside. They're basically going to do some light video editing on it and put some short videos up on YouTube, strictly 1080 they said. They just want to be able to store lots of stuff on here, and it's got an SD card slot, so it'll be perfect for what they want to use it for. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down. Now this is new out of the box. There's no data on it, so I'm just going to decide I'm just going to do a clean install of Windows 10 20H2 once I get all the new parts in it. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. No reason to do a clone. There's just nothing on it that I need to worry about that can't easily be put back on during the Windows 10 install. Plus I'll get whatever any extras I need from Dell's website, but it won't have any of the Dell bloatware on it, which they don't care about. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug the power cord here, guys. It's just got a regular 1366 by 768 screen. Unfortunately, it'll still do the job they wanted to do, and yeah, should be good. Over on this side here, we have an HDMI port. Of course, got Ethernet, which would be nice for them. A couple of USB ports, headphone jack. Over on this side, we have the SD card slot, another USB port. So, flipping it over here, I've already removed all the screws. The only thing is this screw right here, kind of in the center here by the Inspiron, that's a really short screw. All these other screws are the same length. These three along the back, all the new Dells are like this, even some of the Lenovo's, but they stay in. You unthread them until they're unthreaded, but they basically stay in the chassis or in the bottom here. You could get them out if you had to, but they stay right in. I've already loosened them, so just get them all the way unthreaded, and then we should be able to open it up. So I'm just simply going to open it up. I'm going to take my famous blue plastic spudger tool here. I'll put a link down below, I always do, where you can buy a bag of these. They're very inexpensive. I'm going to get it right in the seam where the palm rest meets the bottom. There's a seam all the way around here. So I like to start like right about here, pop it in there, and then just gentle force up and slide at the same time, being careful around your open ports. Oops, sorry guys, bumped my camera. Slide along the front. Popping is good, that just means it's coming loose. I'm gonna go over here. There's gonna be a quick little upgrade, but it'll be a good big upgrade, so to speak. So now that I've got it started like that, I'm just gonna close the lid. And I'm gonna take my thumb, usually, now that I've got it started. Usually get it started here without too much difficulty. All right, it's being difficult. Let me get it back over here. Don't like to pry on it too hard, because I don't like to break those little plastic discussions in there that the screws go into. So I make sure it's up all the way. Should be. They can be a little stubborn sometimes. Just take your time. I do enough of these, I kind of know where the breaking point is on these. I always usually take the screws excuse me, out ahead of time, so I don't have to bore you with that on camera. But now that I got it started here, I'm going to take my little spudger tool back here. Being difficult along the back, which is normal. There we go. Now, little disclaimer, I always say in all my videos, make sure you're protected against static electricity. Use a ESD wristband, a mat, an anti-static type table if at all possible, and don't touch anything in there that you don't have to touch, and you should be fine. So just be careful and keep, be mindful of static electricity. So now that I've got it opened up, I'm all anti-static here. This is anti-static commercial grade carpet. Plus we spray it with static side every so often, as well as the floors. Never had a problem in 25 years. Never bricked one yet from static. So here's our battery, which I'm going to disconnect here in a second. Here's our two RAM slots. Got 1/8, 2066. I'm going to add a second for a total of 16. Our 2.5-inch dry mounting kit is right over here. It's included. Inside, the cable's already run and connected to the motherboard right here by the battery. We just have to take out 4 screws, mount the drive in there, put it back in, hook it up, put it back in. And usually Dell, they're probably in the box, but here, just a second, guys, got to grab me. Got about 1 million of these over there. Little bag of screws to mount that drive in there. Like I said, Dell probably stuck them in the box, but I got plenty. So first things first, before I start putting all these new parts in, this is the new, by the way, this is the new drive I'm putting in. Excuse me, to replace the little 2230 they have over here. This is a 2280 Samsung 970 Evo Plus PCI Express NVMe M.2 drive. It's a 500 gig. This is what I'm going to install Windows 10 on for their boot drive, their OS, and other apps and programs. It's this little guy right here. It's a very good drive, not super high performance, but pretty darn good. I sell all kinds of different ones. They chose this one. I'm going to put an 8 gig stick of some Corsair DDR4 2666 in there. And for the 2.5-inch drive, decided to go with the Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte SATA SSD 2.5-inch drive. Really nice, good performing little drives. Great for storing or putting Windows on, but they kind of work for everything. So first thing, I got to disconnect that battery. Again, try not to touch anything in here, guys. You absolutely don't have to. They put a little piece of tape on here and make it kind of difficult. So what I'm doing is I'm peeling that tape back right here. Then that cable for the battery is going to slide back. If you have to take the battery out, take it out. There's only 4 screws that hold it in place. But I usually can get these out without too much trouble, usually. Just like that. So I got my battery disconnected. As an added precaution, if you're doing that, you might as well go one step further and open it up carefully. And I'm going to hit the power button a few times. Drain any extra juice that's in there. But again, even though you're doing this, try not to touch anything you don't have to. All right, so I got the battery disconnected. I'm just going to go ahead and pop in our 8 gig stick of DDR4 here. Make sure it seats all the way. Got a good click. This is a Wi-Fi card. This is our CPU, cooling fan. Again, over here is our. I'm going to go ahead and there's a little retainer bracket here that holds that little 2230 NVMe SSD. It's a 256. I'm going to take this whole contraption out here because we won't need that. So there's 2 screws, one here and one here to get this out. So you can see that all right. We're going to save this little screw here we took out of the end here to mount our other drive in, so we'll need that. This screw on the side right here, this one right here, kind of stays in the bracket and pulls the drive right out just like that. Okay, so we don't need that. It's just a little, we call it 2230 drive. Put that out of the way. And now we'll go ahead and put our Samsung 970 Evo Plus in its place. Now you could put a 1 terabyte or whatever you wanted in here, but they just a 500 is going to be plenty for installing their apps and other stuff, storing data. Plus it's going to be a faster drive than what the factory puts in there. They usually always are. Quad core, 6-thread processor, nice fast drive, 16 gigs of DDR4. should be good. Now I'm going to go ahead. There is absolutely no ventilation over here, really little speaker holes here, but there's no real ventilation over top of that SSD. Again, this isn't going to be taxed too hard. It's not a high-end gaming laptop or anything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a thermal pad on that. Got one right here ready to go, just to help spread that heat. Now the label, the factory put on there, all the manufacturers, that label serves as a kind of a heat spreader evenly across the NAND chips and your controller back here. But I'm going to add this aftermarket blue. Over top, get it on there as even as I can. Make sure to cover up the controller mainly. Lay it on there just like that. Now as that thing heats up, it's gonna suck that right onto there, and it's gonna hold it nicely in place. So now we'll have a thermal pad, should help a little bit. If you didn't use it, you'd probably still be okay, but it might give it a little extra life to the drive by doing that. There's pros and cons on that. You can read about it online or on YouTube. There's all kinds of benchmarks. Now I got it. Oop, don't want to do that yet. I'm going to hook my battery up after I'm done over here. I forgot about our 2.5 inch drive. So there's going to be 4 screws. There's one here, here, and 2 back here to get this caddy out. So let me pop those out real quick. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty quick little upgrade. As you can see, I'm not really touching anything I don't have to. Boom. Gonna lift this out. Dell usually, no, they didn't, whatever. Sometimes they mount the screws like on the side here. I've seen in other models where Dell does that. So I'm going to take my 4 mounting screws here. Just make sure you put the drive in the right way to match up with your connector. They've already pre-run the SATA cable. It goes underneath the battery, or underneath the battery, and comes over and connects to the motherboard right over here. So let me go ahead and get rid of this tape. I'll just leave that there like that for now. So we're going to put our new drive in like this with the label facing down. Gotta peel this little guy off. Okay. Oh my bad. Okay, there's the screws right there, guys. What an idiot, Dale. Well, I got my own. Gotta get them out of here now. I always struggle with these little guys. Gotta get that tape off there. More tape. Well, we'll just pop those out of there. Bear with me. They usually stuck them somewhere. I've seen them mounted on the side of the caddy. I just wasn't paying attention, guys. Kind of in a hurry, as always. So, all right. So now we're gonna mount that in there, like that. Pretty much lines right up. All right, I'm gonna use Dell screws. Seems they gave us 4 of them. Just snug them up, don't need to be super tight. Oh, I love SSD. I've just, last 4 years, 3 years, been really selling a ton of SSDs. I don't even sell hard drives anymore. Usually somebody comes in and is looking for a hard drive, I'll just give them one. Usually. Guys will come in with their Xbox or PlayStation, they need a new hard drive. I'm like, here you go, $10 for 1 terabyte. All right, so we got that mounted in there. All right, let me plug it in. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. It only plugs in one way, guys. Just got to get in there to get a hold of it. Not a lot of extra on that cable there. Just take your time. Just want to booger up that cable. Oh, jeepers. My big fat fingers. I'll push that on, get it clicked in there good. So we got that mounted in there, plugged in nice. We're going to drop the caddy back in here, hopefully. Just sets right in place. I'm just going to put that tape back on there to kind of hold everything in place. All right, take our 4 caddy screws, put them back in. Like I said, I'm installing Windows to the 500 gig NVMe drive. This is, once we get into Windows after the clean install, we'll just initialize that 1 terabyte and it'll be an empty drive. Store all their videos they're going to upload on YouTube. They're going to make short little videos, I guess, and start a YouTube channel, and hope they do well. Last thing I'll do is hook up the battery. Alright, so there's all our cardboard we don't need anymore. Put these screws back out of the way. Alright, so we got our RAM, we got a new NVMe Samsung SSD, got our Western Digital. Again, you could be any brand, any size over here, or you could put a traditional HDD in there easily if you wanted to. 1 terabyte you can get for like 25, 30 bucks. So they decided to go with solid state. Might as well just move data a little bit quicker. So now I'm all done. I'm going to go ahead and hook my battery back up carefully. Once you plug in that battery, be very careful. Try not to touch anything you don't have to. Just make sure it goes in out of the way. Try to put that tape back down somewhat. Alright, so I got everything, battery back on, 2.5 inch memory, M.2, we're good. Do a quick clean Windows 10 install. I'm not going to put all the screws back in, guys. I never do until I'm all done, just in case something goes wrong. You got to open it back up. Just saves a little time. It'll work. Carefully snap it back on. When you're squeezing the snap back on, don't squeeze on the lid too hard, because remember, you got a screen behind that. You could actually damage your screen from the back side. Seen it done many times. I am going to tighten up these screws in the back here though. They're kind of sticking out a little bit. Pretty simple. Just 3 of them. Like that clicking sound. The battery's pretty charged, but I'm going to go ahead and plug in my AC adapter. It's just a standard 45 watt Dell AC adapter. Alright, now I'm going to use my Windows 10 USB installation drive. They're easy to make. I'll have a link down below. I did a video on how to create one of these. Just download the Windows 10 media creation tool. It'll put the latest version on the flash drive so you can boot up and install Windows. And Windows is going to activate because it came with a digital license already, so it'll just work. I'm not even going to be connected to the internet during the install. I usually am not. Just don't care about that right now. That way I won't be forced to set up a Microsoft account or sign into anything. You can always do that later. So let's go ahead. Turn it on. F12, it should default to that USB drive, but I think on these Dells, F12 will get us to the boot menu. It might give us a message saying that CMOS has changed because of the RAM, which is totally normal, so we just got to be patient for it to post. There it goes. F12. So here's our one-time boot settings right here. This is their new, went from the old DOS looking to this. So we're going to go over here with our mouse, and I'm going to choose my Kingston Data Traveler. We're going to boot off of that. Don't worry about drives showing up or anything. We don't care about that right now. Just click on that, and it should boot from the flash drive. There we go. So I'm going to hit next because I got English, United States. That's where I'm at. Click install now. And being a quad-core processor now with 16 gigs of DDR4 in dual channel, 2666, and the solid-state drives, it should perform pretty well to do what they want to do. Accept the license, click next. I choose custom. Okay. I must have used that drive probably to do a video or something. Let me delete everything on it. We don't care. It's brand new, but I probably used it for something real quick. All right. So anyway, here's our two drives now. We got our 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch SSD, and the drive 1 below it is our Samsung. So I'm going to click next and let it copy the files it needs to get Windows installed going. I won't bore you with this whole process. This whole process getting to the desktop will probably take about 5 to 6 minutes. And I'll pop back in here when it's just about in Windows and we'll wrap things up.
Okay, don't let me hold you up. Just pick the one you want from the list.
All right, guys, I had to wait for Cortana. After it reboots the first time, of course, you can remove your flash drive. We're done with that. I'm just going to jump through this real quick. I'm going to choose United States for my region.
The keyboard is set to US. Do you also type with another?
Skip. Ooh, greatly.
Now let's get you connected to a network.
I always choose.
That way you can get up.
I always choose.
Connecting to a network now.
Sorry, guys. I always choose I don't have internet during this process. That way I'm not forced to set up a Microsoft or a login account and keep it local as a local account. So I'm just going to continue with limited setup. All this stuff you can change later easily through settings. No big deal. Hit next. No password. I never do that. I always let the customer do that. I show them how. Let's see. I just turn off for privacy, you know, this advertising ID and find my device and tailored experiences, diagnostics data. I just turn all that off. I'll leave the location on. Not now, Cortana.
Almost done now. We just need to get a few more things polished up.
Windows 10 will take care of pretty much all the drivers you're going to need on these new modern laptops, but sometimes I still go to the manufacturer's website, punch in the service tag for a Dell, use service tag, it'll find the exact model, and I'll get Intel management stuff, you know, software and stuff like that usually just to make sure I'm good on my chipset drivers and whatnot. So I'm going to let this only take a minute or two to get us to the desktop. Oh, I remembered what the deal was with that Samsung M.2 drive. I pulled it the other day, wondered why the box was open. But I pulled it because I had to do a quick clone from a bad HDD, and I always have good luck cloning onto a M.2 NVMe drive. When I got a hard drive with bad sectors, I can still do a successful clone. Then I cloned it back to a good HDD, and then I kind of just went from there. I just needed it long enough to use it for that, so it doesn't really have any miles on it. It was never booted from. So anyway, I do that a lot. Get into a pinch, and I needed that size to accommodate everything. All right, look at that. We're in Windows already. This whole install probably took 5 minutes. So I'm not connected to the internet. I don't care about any of this stuff right now. Whatever. Searching for display driver. All right, first thing, let's open up Task Manager. I'll just type in task down here. Go to more details, go to performance, memory, and there's our 16 gigs of 2666 memory. We're good there. I'm going to right click on my start menu. I'll go to disk management. We got to allocate that 1 terabyte SSD in there. This is it right here, disk 0. Hit OK. GPT, of course. It's unallocated. Get out of here. Sorry guys, it's unallocated. Here's our SSD. We're all good there. So just right click on this anywhere. You can do it up there too, but just right click, choose new simple volume. Now at this point you could break this into a couple of partitions if you wanted to. You can always do it later with any kind of partition management software like AOMI or whatever, but I'm just going to hit the defaults. Do a quick format on it. It's drive D, we're good there, it's already done. Boy, I love those solid state drives. Everything's so quick on them. So here's our 1 terabyte. You can right click on these, rename it to SSD data. So there we go. Got our RAM, got our 2 drives, got a clean install of Windows 10, 20H2. I'll go to settings real quick. Oops. You can see we're activated, otherwise it would tell us right down here that Windows wasn't activated on the bottom. So we're good. Let's go to About real quick. 2-finger scroll's not working yet because the touchpad driver is not installed. So just like I say, get all the drivers, run Windows Update, it'll find all kinds of stuff. Just run that once you're connected to the internet. I'm not right now, I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to finish up, get all that stuff, and should be good. Nice fast little laptop for doing some video editing and uploading to YouTube. I appreciate you guys all watching. Give me a like if you like it, give me a sub if you really liked it, and don't be afraid to share my videos with your friends, that'd be awesome. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, have a good day.